and welcome to, hopefully, finally, the first event vlog of 2023. It is mid-April and we have been trying since the second, I think, week in March to get out, and every single event has been abandoned due to either snow or rain. And we're not quite in the all clear yet. We are currently heading down to walk the course at Oxtals. Theoretically, I'm supposed to be here tomorrow with Star in the 90 and Atty in the 100. It's going to be a very long day, nothing like diving straight back into the deep end, but never straightforward. Today was meant to be Oxtals' first day of competition, and they actually had to abandon because of the weather, and we had loads of rain last night. We're heading down to walk the course now because tomorrow is going to be just a crazy long day, but they still haven't made the final decision about whether or not it's actually running. So we're kind of half expecting to get there, maybe see the course, and then maybe get a text either way saying it's either on or off. So I thought I'd bring you along. You can see exactly what we're going through and cross your fingers. Not that it'll make any difference because obviously by the time this is out, you'll know what happened, but cross your fingers that it runs, it goes ahead, and then it's going to be a busy evening of preparing not one but 2 horses to event. I can't remember the last time I evented 2 horses in one day. I don't think I did that at all last season, so I think we're talking like 2021 level of busy stress. But it's gonna be fun, it's gonna be fun. I'm excited, I'm optimistic. Let's see how it goes. So you'll be very pleased to know that I'm at combination 1 on the course in the 100, and I already feel like I don't know how to ride it. So that's your little update from me. They've given us some nice little offset houses, not so little, on either a very long one stride, but I'm just not sure if I'm gonna have found my rhythm yet. And with Atty's pony-like stride, oh, I don't know. We'll see. But that fence got bigger as I walked up to it. Two little lakes, which is quite cool, and then out over that. Having a little show jumping walk, and then we're done for the day. Nice fences though, aren't they? Right, let's walk. These are fun little show jumps. All right, I've just got home where I've brought the horses in, ready for a long evening of beautifying to do. I've really left getting them all event clean last minute because I wasn't sure if it was running. So that was silly of me, but I thought I'd very quickly talk about the courses, and I was very pleasantly surprised by the ground. I really wouldn't have kind of thought that they'd cancelled yesterday. Considering they cancelled yesterday, I kind of braced myself for the worst, and it really wasn't too bad. Like, if you're the first of the day, you'd be quite happy with that going. So for Atty, who's on at like midday, I'm not too fast. For you, mister, who is not on cross country till about 6 o'clock, it could be a little more interesting. Oh, we've lost him. Bye then. It could be a little bit more interesting, but we'll see. Hopefully if the weather stays like this, it will dry up nicely. Course itself was nice. It wasn't like the super basic, easy first run of the season that you expect from like Aston or Osby, but I guess it is like 6 weeks since the season theoretically started. So for me, I actually really liked Star's course. It's rare that I'm like feeling more comfortable about Star's course than about the main man's. For the main man, it's the first combination on course, fence 5. It's quite offset and it's on one very long stride. I think I spoke to you about it. So it'll just be really interesting to see how that rides, and if I ride that badly, I hope it doesn't set the rest of the course up badly, if that makes sense. But on the whole, I've done a fantastic job. The fences look incredible. They're designed so beautifully. There's no boring fences around. The water was quite deep, but I think they are draining it. So yeah, all in all, pretty happy here. Maybe I'll check in a little bit, but I've got a lot to do, and it is, let me have a look at my watch, nearly 7 o'clock already. Great. Good morning. Can you tell I've just woken up? I feel like I haven't slept much, weirdly. Anyway, boys are in. I've literally just fed them. It is just after 6:30, and I don't think we're going to be back in this spot having dinner again tonight until maybe 10:30, possibly later. So it's going to be a very long day, but the boys are pretty much ready to go. I'm just gonna switch their rugs out and then Mum will be able to help load. It's finally event day. I feel like maybe I'm not awake enough to be fully excited, but it's event day, guys. It's happening. Oh. So, I'm not sure if we're getting eventing. Oh my god. Right, little update for you from the side of Stroud Road. 5 miles from the venue. Can you believe we got all this way?
You could hack though.
Yeah, if the cars going past went whizzing past like that. Anyway, breakdown recovery man is on the way. Hopefully he's going to be able to fix the tyre, but I have no way. I'm not a mechanic. I don't know what kind of an ask that is with 2 horses in the box. Both boys seem fine. Luckily we're in relatively quite a safe place to break down. We're in a lay-by on the side of the road. If we were on like a motorway or carriageway, I think we'd be quite hysterical. Well, I would anyway, but I'll keep you updated. I've pretty much, well, we've written Atty eventing off considering my dressage would be in 55 minutes, but we're fingers crossed maintaining the tiniest little slither of hope potentially for Star. But if the boys get home safe and happy, even if they don't event, that's the main thing. Let's see the boys. Oh, there's one, there's 2. We're all thriving. Hey boys. Oh, bye boys. That was Atty. He's like, get me off the camera. If I'm not jumping, I don't want to be in it. I can't believe I'm actually updating the vlog, but we have nothing but time on our hands. So we're in a new location. We have moved to the campus car park of the Royal Agricultural University, which luckily was literally just where we'd broken down. So the AA guy arrived and he said that we could try and move the vehicle on its, like, I don't know, blowout tyre, which we managed to just about get into the car park. A lot safer for the horses so that they could get off while he tried to sort the tyre. Now, whilst he was sorting the tyre that had had the blowout, he realised that the other tyre was literally about to go. He was like, you can't leave here. It's going to go. Even if you make it to the venue with 5 miles, you're not going to make it home. And obviously you don't want to break down somewhere even worse than where you've already broken down. So we're here now for 2 hours whilst he very kindly goes and finds us some tyres. But yeah, it's not looking promising for eventing. Obviously Ashley is now totally off the cards. Yeah, anyway, there's an update. Funny, isn't it? Look at it. We are on campus at RAU now. We've managed to move.
Very nice here.
It's a very nice uni. Two boys in tow. AA behind us, trying to fix the car, fix the lorry. Right, it's nearly 2 o'clock, so it is, what, like 5 hours since we since we broke down. That was at 9:10, and you'll be able to see from the countryside rushing past, we are back on the road. So we have definitely missed Atty's times, and we've actually kind of missed Star's because he was meant to be going dressage at 3 o'clock, and obviously it being nearly 2 o'clock now just wouldn't really allow enough time for all the prep. But the amazing organisers have been very kind and slotted us in an hour later, so we're now going to go dressage at 4:10 and then hopefully kind of pick up with roughly our old times, which were like 10 to 5 and 5:30. So it could be worse. Obviously really gutting to put in all of the prep and have Atty all platted and ready and not be able to run him, but if I've got 2 happy, healthy horses and I get a chance to compete one, that in the scheme of things is really a-okay. Big shout out to the AA and to RAU because that was the perfect place to break down. We even went for a wander and found some toilets to use because their campus was open. So yeah, we could have been broken down in worse places. Anyway, onwards. the cave, not of you flatting. It's better than anything I could do.
Better than a bog brush tail.
Yeah, exactly. Marginally. Someone's looking very relaxed. I think he likes being pampered. Oh, one of the main plats has come out. Gosh, I can't tell you how happy I am just to be in the lorry chatting to you as I get ready for dressage. And because we've had our times very kindly moved back, we're actually very relaxed. It is 3:20, if you can see that, and I'm on at 4:10. So going to start slowly getting myself ready, get on. I don't want a very long warm up on Star. Now this test on paper should be perfect for Star, but if you have been an avid vlog watcher for a while, you may remember that typically first event of the season Star is a sight to behold. I may, depending on how much of a rush I'm in when I'm editing this, pop in some footage from Cliff, which was 2020's first event, our first ever event, Lark Hill, 2021's first event. Quite dramatic both times. He didn't start his event season till July last year, so not quite so much, but there was still a couple of moments. He just gets excited. He knows what's coming and he gets very excited. So kind of keeping the expectations low, seeing what happens, but crossing fingers because we have been working really hard over the winter, and I really hope that we can show the judge what we can do. Okay, let's talk about the dressage test. I've left in all of his trotting around before going in, and you will see why in a second, but I thought I would caveat the very start of it by saying I'm kind of analysing this in a comparative lens to Cliff or to Lark Hill, because that is how he felt in the warm-up. At any given moment he felt like he was going to kind of explode. He was clearly very excited, and I was thinking, gosh, I'd just rather you got it out of your system now, but he didn't. He kept it together, and up until this point it was going very nicely. You will see what's about to happen, and I was not surprised at all. The judge opened her car door and kind of tried to get our attention and was like, sorry, I don't have your number down, because obviously we had moved because of all of the drama in the morning and our time was an hour later. Now Star took this little slight unfortunate kind of conversation I was having where I wasn't focusing on him and went, you know, this is my door, this is my opening, and I am absolutely going to run with it. And by the time I'd spoken to the judge and looked back down, there he was. He was kind of doing his classic excited, I was like, this is all very reminiscent. I was like, literally, okay, we're gonna have a repeat of Lark Hill, we're gonna have a repeat of Cliff, it's just gonna happen. So what I decided to try and do was pop him in canter, because I often find that if I get him settled in canter, his walk and trot will be better, if that makes sense. Whereas if I get him settled in trot, he will still probably be just as excited when I ask him to go up into canter. And he was starting to listen here, starting to come down, behave a little bit better, but it was all very superficial, that kind of surface level, like, you know, give me an inch and I'm going to take a mile, which I kind of have been expecting. Like I said, the warm-up was although it might have looked alright, it felt tense, and so I wasn't really surprised. Luckily the judge was very nice and gave us, you know, a couple of times to circle around to kind of calm him down, and you can see he is coming back here, and you'll be pleased to know that I'm starting 2023 how I mean to go on. I have kept hold of my dressage sheet so I can tell you, like, movement by movement what the dressage judge thought of everything. So he's back, you know, not in total giraffe mode here, but you can tell it's so on the edge, and I was just trotting around going, why is this happening? Of course this is happening. But I think I say it elsewhere in the vlog, I don't really mind if he does this for his first one of the season. I'm happy that, you know, he's excited and he loves his job, and as embarrassing as it can be, it's horses for you, it's horses for courses. So yeah, popped in a little bit of a circle before going down the centre line. Centre line's always the interesting one. I thought, how is this going to be? Because again, he's not stupid, he knows, and as soon as I put in that circle, he was like, right, I know what you're asking me to do. And I thought, I've just got to get down the centre line. Sorry, mate. And you will see our first centre line was fairly horrific. He was like, straight line, no thanks. 4-time trot, no thanks. Putting a little 5-meter leap there by the looks of things. So I was very surprised when I watched this back and saw the judge gave me a 5.5. In my opinion, that's way too generous. It should have been a 4, but it's what it is. Anyway, I was pleased that he very early on seemed to be starting to settle. Now, you know, it's superficial. The judge, I think, commented here 6 that it was still tense, which, you know, it's obviously tense to the naked eye, but at least he's trying. Do you know what I mean? I'm really scraping the barrel here for the positives, but he's trying. You know, in previous tests, if you did watch the Lark Hill vlog, he wasn't trying, he didn't really care. Whereas here he's going, okay, look, I'm finding this really exciting, but I'm going to try and put on a brave face. I think we did a change of rein here, and we got a 7 for that, which, again, possibly slightly on the generous side. There were some really low scoring marks in this arena, so I'm not trying to act like this judge was a harsh marking judge. She wasn't. And then into canter, I was so glad, although that may not have looked like the best canter transition in the world, I was so glad we held it together, because I just thought, oh, if he's going to get excited, it's going to be when we go back up to canter. What did we get for the circle? A 7, I think, by the looks of it. Yeah, a 7. And the comment was that we could still be more supple, which, you know, totally a given. Transition to trot was 6.5 because it needed more balance. Again, I think that's quite generous. I probably would have thought it would be a 6 or lower. And then this 20-meter circle got a 6.5, and the comment was about the size of the circle, that it wasn't round enough, which I usually think that I'm quite an accurate rider, but in all fairness, I think I was probably quite distracted by just kind of trying to keep him focused and sane and keep everything together. And then, did we do another change of rein? And we got a 7 for it. Yes. I'm in the right place on my test. Good stuff. I thought he was starting to behave quite nicely by here. You know, it, like I said, it still feels like under the surface, there's that excitement there, but he is really trying. And we got a 7 for that transition to canter, which I thought was better than the first one, but still not, you know, what we're capable of. This circle here was the highest scoring sort of mark or movement of the whole test. We got a 7.5, and I watched this back when, like, in the lorry on the way home, and I couldn't work out what was so nice about it in comparison to everything else, but I'll take a 7.5, you know, I'm not complaining. And this test was actually really good for Star because it had the walk at the end, which is good because sometimes historically coming out of the walk he gets a little bit excited again. But we got a, what did we get for that? A 7 for our transitions, but then the actual walk itself was a 6 because it wasn't forward enough. Now, I knew that. I knew that in the movement. I thought, you know, my literal real-time thoughts here is, okay, we are not going particularly forward. This movement is taking a very long time to complete, but I don't think it's probably sensible for me to give him a little big squeeze and ask him to move on because he is definitely going to jog or get excited. And then it was down the centre line. And the centre line was better, but still not great, but better than our first one. And then for our halt and salute, we got a 6 for this. That's very generous because we weren't on the centre line. We did some sideways steps, but do you know what? I was just happy that we had completed the test from where we'd been going around that centre line, whatever it was, 5-6 minutes ago, to completing that test. I think it could have gone a lot worse, so I'm keeping my fingers crossed for the next one out. Obviously, I don't mind if he gets a bit excited at his first event of the season, but we don't want it to be a recurring thing. Anyway, hope you enjoyed my in-depth analysis, and let's move on to the show jumping. From where we went down the first centre line, I thought that test was going to be a car crash, and it wasn't good, but it could have been worse, let's put it that way. I knew it was coming in the warm-up, I knew he was good about trying to get out of his system, I just didn't know when it was coming. And I tried in the warm-up to get it out of him and he, didn't. And yeah, I went down there and he just got a little bit, I can't blame him, first one of the season, I think he's excited. If that's as bad as it gets, there's an improvement on Lark Hill or Swalcliffe first ones of the season. But yeah, we'll give him the benefit of the doubt and see how he comes out at Swalcliffe, and there were a couple of promising moments in there.
Go away now. Start on floor of 35. Top gone. And Jackie will put you at the feet.
Yeah. Well, this one's got a space for them. This one.
I'm not going to do an audio over my round, it's better for you guys to watch it, I think, but I just did want to caveat before it starts that he had been going really nice and calmly, and then just as the camera went on, as we were trotting into the arena, just as we passed the spectator, they started clapping at the last round, which there's nothing wrong with that. He just used it as an excuse to get excited. As I've said like so many times, if this is a first thing of the season, I don't mind. I love that he is so ready to take on his job, and I think the round he does is lovely, but don't think I'm not working on it because I very much am. I don't want him going in and getting that excited. It's just a time thing, really.
Right, that's nothing to add to the dressage score 34 for able start slow starter.
This is what we're dealing with. Atty! Atty! Can you hear that? This is what we're dealing with. Atty! I fear that bringing the two together was a mistake of epic proportions. Proportions? I can't speak. Anyway, clear show jumping. Fast round, excitable round, but I'll let him have it, do you know what I mean? First sort of event, first sort of competition on grass, first dressage test, blah blah blah, 2023. I'll let him have it. He can be excitable, he can be a little bit, you know, as long as he settles down. This is his one and done, you know? You get a one-time pass. Anyway, we're going to try and get down to cross country because it sounds like they're just a bit held up, just generally waiting for people who may or may not be here, and we don't want it to get a queue too big, so we're going to head down there, go cross country, and then maybe I'll chat more, debrief properly at the end of the day. It's felt like a long one, guys. It's felt like a long one even though I've only had one horse out of the two.
32.3, two-phase score, safely home. That's a rabbit. Princess. Behind us at the cross, going clear is Amelia Winter. No grey mare, 72.3, two-phase score. Next away, Amelia Winter. There's no problem though. At the water at 14. Now that's trained by Selena Biggles. You can see it coming down to the blue. 34 dressage, they show chemistry, Mormon, and growth by 7. Over the railing. The element of probably on the way up. Through the box. Equally slightly up the rise, then up the element. So, turn right and find it for bracket. Up to the table at 7.
Don't ask me what happened at this fence. My temporary lapse and ability to ride. I have no idea where that came from.
At this moment in time, they could be beaten by those out on course, but 28.2 is there's Carvo out on course now. This is number 913. How to go will be in Hampton and the smooth operator. This is number 923.
Did it go, Flo? Yeah, he found that easy hack around that. Really good, and wasn't perfect. I was definitely a little bit rusty, but I didn't even really think about the time until the last 2 minutes, and I was like, oh, even though I feel like I've just been like popping around, like hacking around, I was like, if I just ask for a little bit more over the last couple of fences, we'll be inside the time. So pretty sure we were, yeah.
You were, yeah.
Really happy
Well
with that.
done, guys.
Get the 3 strikes.
This is the end of the day. It started so well.
Generally the lorry has not been on our side today.
As you may have gathered, I'm actually filming this outro the next day because it was well and truly dark by the time we got home yesterday. A long and not entirely successful day, but I'm really glad to have the first event of the season under my belt. What a dramatic start to the day, and I'm so gutted for Atty that he didn't get his run because he feels awesome at the moment, and I actually don't have him entered into anything else currently, so gonna have to go away, have a little bit of a think and see where we can get him out of eventing because he's missed a couple of runs now, which is such a shame. So, very happy with him. I know that by most people's standards, the dressage was probably a little bit disappointing, but in comparison to Aston or Lark Hill, I'm happy that he had it together and he really tried. He was so excited, but he really tried. We got a 34 for that, which, you know, I think that could easily have been a 37, but you got to take these wins when they come. Sometimes your scores come through and you think, I wish it was a couple marks lower, so I'll take it. I would take it. Anyway, onto the show jumping. As you, again, very excited, but he jumped incredibly. The power and the scope this horse has made me very excited to step up to 100 at Solihull next weekend. And then onto the cross country where we went clear and we came back inside the time. I had a really nice run, a really good run. I think the first couple of fences I was a little bit kind of like sticky. Obviously it's been 6 months since I left the start box and I was a little bit backwards. But once we found our rhythm, it was great. And at about fence 14, I sort of looked down at my watch. I hadn't really been thinking about the time. And I was like, oh my God, if I just push over the last couple of fences, we're going to be inside the time. So we came back with no time penalties, which shouldn't be too difficult because it's 90, but it's a good confidence-giving way to start the season. Like I said, Solihull next weekend with Star in the B100, so that will be the next vlog on this channel, hopefully, as long as everything goes to plan. And other than that, I'm not sure. Lots of event vlogs, hopefully, in the near future. But thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this very chaotic vlog, and I will see you very, very soon. Bye!